What's up? I'm Vince Del Monte. This may be one of the most important videos I share, and I'm going to get very fired up here because we're going to cover some things. We're going to piss some people off, and we're going to talk about how I stayed lean all year round. And some of you guys are thinking, well, I'm lean all the time. So good for you. I hope that it continues and you're not doing some disordered eating to stay there, or you have some crazy unhealthy relationship with food to stay there. But if that's you, pat yourself on the back. It's taken me, I got into the fitness industry when I was 22. I'm 37 now. So it's taken me like almost 15 years to finally maintain a physique that's lean all year round. You guys can check my Instagram. You know what? Talk is cheap, right? I am not shredded. And that's one of the things we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about, actually this video isn't going to be just about me, by the way. Who cares about Vince? This is about how to lose your belly. So I am going to give you some tips, some very important things no one in the industry is talking about. All right, this is very important stuff. I'm going to talk about eating X amount of grams of protein with each meal. None of that BS, all right? You already know that. The reason you're not losing weight is not because you don't have enough information. There's probably nothing I could say or teach on this channel that you'd be like, wow, I didn't know it. That was the piece of information that oh my God, that was the thing. I didn't know that. Now I know that. Now my body's changed. It's not like that. We have more information than we know what to do with. Weight loss is not just a math thing. It's not a knowledge thing. It's a behavioral thing. It's a psychology thing. It's stuff that no one talks about. And this has taken me so long to figure out. And if you're one of my customers, we have a coaching program. We go into this stuff in depth. But if you're not, this will be kind of a taste of some of the things that we talk about to help you achieve what I call the after photo. All right? This industry is obsessed with getting the after picture. I don't care about your after picture. I care about your after photo. Anybody can get shredded once. I've competed with guys who were shredded on stage with 4 or 5% body fat, and then 1 week later they gain 20 pounds. And they go, oh, it's water weight. It's water weight. It's not water weight. Your body has, you primed your body to go into fat storing mode, and you hoarded all those calories as excess fat because you down-regulated your metabolism and you turn your body into a fat storing factory. Through those 2 hours of cardio day, crazy low diets, you didn't gain just water, you gained fat. That's why you have to diet it off for the next show again. These fitness competitors are the ones who are the most disillusioned. They don't even know what's going on, and they won't figure it out until they come out of the competition world. I learned this the hard way. I competed multiple times, and every show I did, it got harder and harder to get into the same condition. I had to do more cardio. I had to go lower on my calories to get into the same shape. How is that possible? How is it possible that I'm getting less and less for more and more? I'm doing more, but I'm getting less out of it. Because your body isn't a damn math equation. Your body has biological and metabolic mechanisms to protect itself. It doesn't understand the difference between a diet and starvation. All right? Now, we're not going to go into all these different topics. I've opened up all these loops. Again, let's go back to how I stay lean all year round and how you can lose your belly fat without deprivation diets. All right? Let's get into some content. You should grab a pen and paper. There's a number of things we can get into, but these were some of the big things. These are the big things that really help move the lever for me. Crap, I told you, I'll just show you how I'm looking right now. This is how I've pretty much looked for the majority of the year. I always focus on maintaining a 4-pack, all right? I want to be at least around maintenance calories so that I can support my metabolism, all right? And I'm going to tell you why in a second, but this is my condition. Again, I know I'm not shredded. I got almost an inch to pinch, not quite. I'm probably about 12, I would say more 13, maybe 14% body fat, but this is my physique. This is my physique. I trained like, I think 8 hours ago, so this isn't enhanced like with a great pump. This is just how I'm looking all year round. And I'm very happy because This is something I've been unable to attain in the past. If you guys have followed my work in the past, you've probably noticed Vince is either doing an extreme cut or an extreme bulk. He's always doing something extreme. He's never in the middle. And I'm like, yeah, but that's Vince. But that's not healthy. And I had to say, you know, I got to change that. So one of the things that I've done to start losing my body fat is having a new priority. Hang on a second, guys. Let me just make sure I'm mic'd up here so our sound is good. For anybody who follows me for online business advice, you guys know that I always say a good video is one that you can hear, right? So if you can't hear me, it doesn't matter what you can see. So anyways, what the heck am I talking about? Let's go back to these tips. The first thing I want to talk about is knowing your priority. So my priority this past year was to rebuild my metabolism. That was my priority, to rebuild a healthy and supportive metabolism. I wanted to have the ability to go and have a cheat meal, maybe go to my favorite Italian restaurant where I love to get spaghetti and meatballs, diavolo, calamari, and sometimes I even get a ribeye steak with risotto on the side. Yes, I know that's a lot of food. How many calories? I have no idea. That's another thing. I don't count calories. I completely stopped doing that. We'll get into that a little later. But I want to be able to have a meal like that and have a metabolism that clears those calories right away. It's so healthy and supportive and robust that when I introduce an excess amount of calories, it can upregulate and just wipe those calories out. It's not like in a depleted, slow, snail-like state so that when I have those calories, it sets me back. And that's something, if you guys watch my Snapchat, if you don't believe me, watch my Snapchat. You guys probably see me eat out 3-4 times a week in restaurants. And I don't pull out my $70 MyFitnessPal app to figure out, okay, I had 40 grams of protein. I went 5 grams over my last meal, so I'm going to have 35 in this meal. I don't do that. Now, that stuff's okay. I'm not making fun of those people, but as a reference point, it's good for beginners. Eventually, you don't want to be a 37-year-old dude walking into Chipotle and trying to figure out if all these, if the rice and the beans are going to fit into your protein and carb intake. That is no way to live. That is a shitty way to live. All right? You can maintain a lean physique without counting calories, without tracking macros. Now, again, if you're a beginner, context here, we may need to use some of those things as reference points, but we can build a great body just on portion sizes. We'll get into that in a little bit. Haven't even got into my first point here, but we'll try and speed this up here. So my goal was to rebuild my metabolism. That was the goal. So knowing that that was my goal, that dictated a number of things that I did this year. One, I gave my body sufficient calories to train hard. All right, so that was one thing. I provided my workouts with fuel. Guess what kind of fuel? Carbs. Lots of them. Carbohydrates. Weight training, newsflash, is an anaerobic activity. That means it requires glycogen, glucose, for fuel. If you don't have carbs in your body, it's like trying to drive your car on empty. How are you going to, won't you even be able to drive it? Not only will you be able to push it hard, you're not even going to be able to drive it, period. All right? So by providing my body with energy, carbohydrates, and yes, complex carbs, simple carbs, fruit. I didn't categorize foods as good and evil. All right, that's another video. I ate rice, I ate potatoes, I had Eggos, I had beans. You know, I really had whatever kind of carbs I wanted. I had peanut butter and jam sandwiches. I had pasta, I had grains. Oh my God, you had grains. Isn't that bad for inflammation? Again, a lot of the stuff that you guys are getting brainwashed with is being marketed to 45-year-old grandmas or 60-year-old grandmas who are 300 pounds. They're obese and they have serious health issues. All right? If you're a young, healthy male that trains hard, your body's going to utilize this stuff for fuel. All right? You're going to have the metabolic, biochemical, and hormonal environments that can handle those things. All right, another topic. I'm opening up all these topics that we can cover in 2017. Provided my workouts with fuel, so carbs. All right? Oh, how many? Were you doing 1 gram per pound of body weight, Vince? How many carbs were you doing? I did enough to get a great pump. That's how I did it. Because you want to use what's called biofeedback to make your decisions. You go to the gym and ask yourself, how did I feel? Well, this calculator here on this website with this guy is very smart. He always quotes PubMed. He said that you should have only this amount of carbs before the workout. You shouldn't go over, you might be like blunting growth hormone. Oh my God. Go to the gym. What's the goal of the workout? To train hard, to beat your previous bests. Are you doing it? If you're not, then you're not eating enough carbs. Use some common sense. Increase the carb intake a bit. Well, do I increase it a quarter cup or a whole cup? Just increase it and see what happens, and you can pull back. We make decisions with what's called outcome-based decision making, all right? So a lot of you guys, what's happened to you because you follow too many guys that carry apps around and think that everything can be solved with a magic formula, you guys are suffering what's called Quantitative Syndrome. That's one to write down. You have what's called quantification syndrome. You try and quantify everything. It's a rookie mistake. It's something that happens with new people that get into the industry, and it's okay, but you have to graduate out of it. It's something that you can stay there for a bit, but then we don't want to stay there forever. Okay, so provided my workouts with fuel. Another big thing I did was I got rid of deadlines. And some of you might be thinking, Vince, you're a huge endorser of deadlines. Goals without deadlines are dreams. That's what you always say, Vince. I know. However, when it comes to rebuilding your metabolism, you have to get rid of deadlines. And you have to start working with your body. And you can't force feed, you can't force fat off your body. All right, this is something I learned from Scott Abel. Brilliant, brilliant guy. He's got like awesome quotes. And this is like the principle I've been using to guide me over the last year. And it's this. You're going to want to write this down. When you try and force the fat off your body, the body reacts. When you try and coax the fat off your body, the body responds. Did you get that? Try and force the fat off with deprivation diets, excess cardio, and your body reacts. Metabolism downregulates, cortisol increases, testosterone goes down, hormones go out of whack, cravings go crazy, then you start to binge, then you overeat, and then you go, oh man, I didn't have enough willpower. It had nothing to do with willpower. You hear what I'm saying? All right? So what I did was I just tried to coax the fat off my body. My new word became slow. This was my secret word of the year, slow. And I didn't get obsessed if like I wasn't losing half a pound of fat per week. When was the last time weight loss was ever linear? The only people that have linear fat loss are for guys who are getting ready for shows because they're doing extreme and unhealthy stuff to get ready for that show. And those aren't people you want to follow as your example. They're going to pay the price. It's called metabolic hell afterwards. That's another video. All right, so if you want to get rid of your belly fat, you have to go slow. You have to avoid anybody who promises you fast fat loss, aggressive fat loss, quick fat loss, jumpstart your fat loss. As soon as you hear those things, run. Especially if you've dieted a lot in the past and you haven't had success. Your new word for 2017 is slow. Slow equals fast. Because when you go slow and you do it right the first time, you don't have to repeat it down. You don't have to try and fix it down the road. So on the scale, I was aiming to lose weight, but I wasn't trying to like lose half a pound per week. Sometimes it took like 2-3 weeks to lose just a half a pound and keep it off. And my weight would fluctuate and I wouldn't freak out. I was looking at overall weight loss in the big picture. And I brought my weight down to what's normally 213 to 214 down to 203. So I've taken 10 pounds off this past year, but I've maintained it. And now a lot of you guys are noticing, Vince, you're looking better these days. You're more muscular. What are you doing? Insulin sensitivity is better. Metabolism's better. But it's taken time. Those shows I did were cool for after photos and for business and stuff, but metabolically, I paid the price. It's always been harder to get lean in like subsequent photo shoots and stuff. All right, and that's why you see these fitness competitors, they have to do 2 hours of cardio to get ready for the next show when they only had to do an hour before because their metabolism has changed. It's a different state of machinery now. All right, so get rid of deadlines. I'm going to give you 2 more really simple things. What you want to be in is what's called a slight caloric deficit. Slight calorie deficit. And I don't want you guys to fixate on numbers here versus severe. All right? Severe caloric deficits only work for about 2 to 3 weeks tops. And then what's called, this cool thing called the metabolic compensation system kicks in. And your body goes from fat burning mode into fat storing mode, which is again another video. But what you want to be in is a slight caloric deficit. So let's just use numbers just for simplification. Let's say your needs for the day were 2,000 and you wanted to elicit a deficit. A slight deficit would be like 250, 300 calories. A severe one would be like 300 to 900. All right, you would lose weight for 2 to 3 weeks, but then that weight loss would come to a halt because metabolism would downregulate, muscle would get stripped off, hormones would go out of whack, hunger cravings would skyrocket. Then you would end up binging, overeating, and then setting yourself back with a downregulated metabolism, all those calories. You store them all as fat, then you're like, oh crap. Then you get frustrated, and then you quit, and then you go on to another yo-yo diet. We don't want that. So what we want is a slight caloric deficit. So we want to coax fat off the body. This is how you lose your belly fat. And really what we've got here is this is like a strategy, all right? So really what we've got is a dietary strategy, all right? So you have to get away from this term, a diet. You guys are all thinking about, I got to go on a diet. No, you don't. You need a dietary strategy. A big, big difference. So this year, my dietary strategy was to focus on hard workouts, fueling my workouts, recovering from my workouts, burning the fat off, not starving the fat off, getting rid of the deadlines, coaxing the fat off with a slight deficit. And then I'm going to give you one more thing that's going to really hit this home, and it's how to interpret your hunger. And again, Scott Abel helped me with this. It's been such a game-changing idea, and that's distinguishing between 2 states of hunger. If you stuck around to this point in the video, you stuck around to the best part. There's 2 states of hunger. Tolerable hunger versus intolerable hunger. Guess which one is good and guess which one is bad? Tolerable hunger is good. Tolerable hunger is good. We were evolved in a tolerable hunger state. Every mammal on this planet is experiencing tolerable hunger right now. Hunger is normal. It means your body is surrendering fat. If you're hungry, that's a good thing. The supplement industry is so screwed up, and there's like so many different like multi-level weight loss companies that are like, hey, buy our craving crushing shakes. Well, why would you want to crush your cravings? Hunger is a good thing. It means you're losing fat. Hunger is a good thing. It means you're losing fat. What's bad is intolerable hunger. You know what intolerable hunger is? It's when you're willing to trade a sexual favor with someone of the same sex for a cookie, assuming you're attracted to the opposite sex. That is intolerable hunger. You've lost your mind. You've gone crazy. You're like, oh my God, I'm dying. I need something. And your body's telling you to eat, eat, eat. And it's not saying go grab some broccoli. It wants cookies. It wants chips. It wants sugar. It wants salt. It wants fat. The things that the scientists have figured out how to mix to stimulate that center of your brain that just lights up with activity when it thinks about that stuff or eats that stuff. And it doesn't make you eat a certain amount. It makes you eat a lot, which sets you back. So this is your enemy, intolerable hunger. And this is why I'm not a fan of things like intermittent fasting or any like low calorie, low carb, or low fat, because it puts you into a state of intolerable hunger where it's just a matter of time where you just throw your hands up and say, I can't handle this anymore. This is too tough. And again, it's not your willpower. It's not willpower. All right, guys? So I ran out of room here, so you guys are lucky, or else I probably would have gone another 20 minutes. But these are some of the things that I'm going to continue practicing. All right, these are some of the things I'm teaching all my one-on-one coaching students and all the people that sign up for our high-priced programs. You know, this is stuff that we go in depth on. We open up a lot of loops there. But, you know, these are some of the big things. You know, a lot of you guys have no business even thinking about weight loss in 2017. Until you build a healthy and supportive and robust metabolism, you have no business using a calorie calculator and trying to figure out how to math your way thing or out-calculate your metabolism. It doesn't work like that, guys. It doesn't work like that. All right? You have to understand, you know, just one last little thing. It's the state of your hormones and metabolism that influences how calories in, calories out works and how it plays out. All right? That's one of the biggest things you have to understand. All right? So there's a lot of other things I wanted to discuss, so why don't you guys tell me what I said that needs further explanation in the comment section below. I think I said a bunch of things I didn't finish talking about. I need you to tell me what topics you want to dig into. Upcoming videos, digging into the new year. Let's get our feet running in the right pace, in the right direction. All right? Some of you guys aren't going to have to run at all. Some of you guys are going to have to start walking. Some of you guys are going to have to start crawling. Some of you guys are going to have to take a couple steps back, but ultimately it's going to set you so many steps forward because you're going to do it right for the first time in your life. All right? I said a lot of stuff there. I hope it landed. I know when I heard all this stuff for the first time, it just was like light bulb, light bulb, light bulb. And since I started implementing it, again, a lot of you guys have noticed that my physique has improved. I've been doing this for 10 years. I've got 2 kids. I got a crazy lifestyle, man. I got a lot of stuff going on, yet I'm making the best gains now in my late, what am I, 36? I just turned 30, wait, I just turned 37, holy cow. So whatever you want to call that, 3 minus 40, 3 from 40, and I'm making great gains. And a lot of this has to do not with just the training information I give you, but obviously all of this. Okay? This is how you're going to lose your belly fat without deprivation diets. Anybody who's promising you something fast, something quick, get your money back. All right? Do it the right way once, and let's get an awesome after photo. That's what we're striving for. All right. Let me know what you want me to cover in 2017. Comment section below. Go. See you next time.